Hexaplex, Australia's leading global manufacturer of decorative paints. Hexaplex is an Australian global manufacturer of premium decorative paints, with manufacturing centres established across Asia and Europe. Hexaplex has a strong corporate culture, which it believes international assignees should continue to uphold in other overseas offices. As global expansion is a key business strategy for Hexaplex, they are looking to set up a small manufacturing plant and an operation unit.
Recruitment and selection in the UK bear a lot of similarities to the processes that are common practice in Australia. In Australia, online application forms are the predominant recruitment method to form a pool to select from. One-on-one interviews are the primary selection method, which may be accompanied by other methods such as cognitive testing and/or assessments depending on the requirement for the role. The UK similarly uses application forms and individual interviews, as well as cognitive testing and assessment centres. Interviews are ingrained in the culture of the British and are the most popular selection method in both countries, which could be due to their shared history. The only notable difference between the two countries is that the UK makes greater use of assessment centres than Australia. Both countries primarily conduct the recruitment and selection internally, however this function can be outsourced if needed. We can therefore use the same recruitment methods that we are currently using in Australia in the UK and have the same success in finding suitable candidates for our roles.
The reward and performance practices carried out by organisations in Australia and the UK are similar, as both countries share many of the same political, economic, social and legal policies and procedures due to Australia's historical ties as a former colony of Britain. The two nations share many cultural links that would assist with opening a subsidiary in the UK. According to Hofstede's Cultural Dimensions, the UK and Australia score almost identically in the power distance, individualism and masculine dimensions in the cross-cultural research study. These similarities reflect how organisations structure their rewards and performance management procedures for employees in Australia and the UK. Employers reward staff extrinsically with higher pay or performance bonuses for employees who exceed their job objectives. Employees work individually and are rewarded for their contribution to the organisation. Employees are motivated intrinsically by achieving outstanding personal performance, which results in satisfaction of knowing they are partly responsible for the organisation's success. Personal success allows the employees to be rewarded financially, as well as opportunities to advance their careers with interesting assignments, promotions and overseas postings. The UK and Australia have highly individualistic cultures, with performance and reward having a focus on individual performance. Management in Australia and the UK are moving in the direction of unilateral determination of pay and rewards for individual performance, and there has been a steady decline in collective bargaining. Furthermore, there is an increase in individual management driven by performance-related pay systems in organisations in the UK.
Shifting now to a focus on learning and development, a key element in facilitating successful expansion of Hexaplex into the United Kingdom. To their benefit, HR practice within Australia and the UK shares similar motives to training and developing staff, that is, increasing the performance and productivity of the business through a more enhanced and skilled workforce. Both countries utilise similar approaches consisting of a variety of off and on-the-job training, which assist in the acquisition of job knowledge, skill and behaviour. Aiming to achieve greater levels of individual performance will thus drive overall corporate performance. Anecdotally, this is examined by Smith, who notes modernised application of training and development practice away from traditional low-rigor training to higher methods like on-the-job training. These synthesised training efforts with line managers are becoming more prominent on international scales, as it places heavier emphasis on the physical and mental demands of job roles and provides experience to assist in the attribution of skills and knowledge in the relevant field. These efforts have been observed in both countries, who have seemed to adopt the 70-20-10 model split training approach. That is 70% focused on job training and work-related experience, 20% on physical coaching and workshops, and a minute 10% on qualifications and e-commerce learning. Within a modern era, The implications of globalization has seen a greater use of technology in the upskilling of HR professionals, focusing largely on change management and gaining skills to assist in the transition to technological-based learning. This presents as a current challenge to Hexaplex's strategy, as the precarious nature of e-commerce is still under research and often undervalued by current employees. With current COVID-19 circumstances, both countries have forced many companies to take an online approach to operations, and therefore Hexaplex must engage the necessary frameworks for training on online platforms. Thankfully, noting previous attributions to the similarity in cultural aspects, legal systems and policies, and the lack of difference in language, Hexaplex's internationalization endures low barriers to entry and thus mitigates a range of associated costs, enhancing the likelihood of a streamlined process. These similarities demonstrate the need to adopt learning and development systems which are recognized, well established, and effective in both Australia and the UK. Mutually, each nation places focus on having employees suited to the current and future requirements of job roles, and thus Hexaplex can ensure expats can undertake its operations on a global scale, as well transfer education to those employees gained overseas, to guarantee the company's success into the future.
The global team have to consider appropriate staffing approaches, control mechanisms, and factors driving standardisation and localisation.
Hexaplex, in their decision to expand into the UK, must safeguard their survival. This is attained by establishing and maintaining a strategic competitive advantage made possible by employing a staffing approach that serves the strategic direction of the business. One strategic decision is to standardise or localise in the recruitment of management. The lack of cultural distance between Australia and the UK, which share professional capabilities, qualification standards, and language, means that the Australian PCNs would not be required to instill a culture and prevent the creation of a subculture. This pushes Hexaplex towards a geocentric staffing approach, as the similar standards of skills rather than nationality is a consistent decider in allocating management positions. However, as a business, we believe that many nations will take time to begin international relocation following the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, a polycentric staffing approach relying on HCNs over PCNs will be employed. This reflects the reality that the practicality and cost of staffing approaches are significantly influenced by external factors.
The similarities in our cultures and joint history as discussed above has led to both countries conducting business using similar methods. We share the same techniques for recruitment and selection and follow similar processes to provide rewards and recognition to our employees. We can implement many of our existing systems and have a centralized method of control. This will help retain the strong corporate culture that Hexaplex has in this new manufacturing plant. Performance management can be used to monitor production levels, ensure targets are met, and ensure the plant is following the strategic goals of the company. There are numerous factors which can impact a performance review, including personal factors of who is involved, culture bias, and contextual issues. However, it has been argued a standardized approach that is tailored to culture and context may be the best method, although more research is needed. There is approximately a 9-hour time difference and a large physical difference between countries, so I would recommend moving to a more localized approach after establishment.
For the manufacturing plant to be successful, the recommendations for Hexaplex subsidiary in the UK would be to implement a standardised approach as part of their control mechanism. As the research argues, multinational corporations using a global strategy are mainly concerned with standardisation and integration of operating across the globe. Hexaplex will have a long-term strategic plan with a specific timeframe to replicate the corporate culture and ensure there is consistency and control of the staff. It will be in Hexaplex's interest to work towards localising management, and this should occur without too many issues due to the cultural values, legislation and political similarities between the two countries.
Declining global economy during the COVID-19 pandemic, which can prevent the attaining and maintaining of a competitive advantage, affecting not only HR measures but the business as a whole. This is because consumers have less purchasing power and reduce their spending. A new entrant like Hexaplex will not have customer loyalty, and therefore during this period may struggle to penetrate a declining UK market. However, an economic recession increases the rate of job seekers, allowing managers to fill hard-to-fill vacancies, and providing job opportunities during a downturn can be great employer and company branding. An overall decline in business reduces the demand and thus cost of renting land and hiring labour. However, depending on the profits of a business, it can also create recruitment bans or furloughing of employees. Thus, Hexaplex's second challenge is to balance the uncertain economic conditions with the unique opportunity of expansion during a cheaper market. The final challenge, brought about by a globalised workforce and the COVID-19 situation, is the increase in online learning and development, or e-learning. The benefits for adult learners include 24/7 delivery, access in any location, instant feedback and online assessment. However, suffering from a lack of engagement and personalisation means e-learning courses may not prompt lasting change in behaviour and may prevent the teaching of Hexaplex's culture between the parent and host country. Despite the many challenges, Hexaplex should adapt to a declining economy and continue their expansion into the UK. Factors of production like land and labour are cheaper, creating a unique recruitment and expansion opportunity. Lastly, the instilling of culture into new staff via training using e-learning could be a bigger issue if there was more cultural distance between the UK and Australia.